You're welcome back. Now, the AMA Environmental and Sanitation team has arrested 2 persons and confiscated food items at Kaneshi Market over the lack of adherence to hygiene standards by food vendors. The local authority has been urging the traders to abide by the hygiene standards for some time now, but their directives have fallen on deaf ears. The head of the AMA Environmental and Sanitation Department, Florence Kuchi, has been issuing stern directives to food vendors. Prince Osansa was with them and filed this report.
I want to tell them that all the shop around Kaneshi, this is what we used to work. And I want to ask them whether they've been through all the shop. What are you trying to tell me?
Some disagreement as a group of corn mill operators failed to comply with the AMA regulations on food safety.
It's not possible. You can't send someone's condo away. You can't send someone's condo away. It's not possible.
The wooden structure that houses the corn mill operators was in a terrible state, unclean and dangerous for the workers. It failed to meet basic safety standards of AMA food safety and hygiene bylaws.
That it should not have a way that microorganisms can get some place to hide. It should be washable. How can you wash this place? Can you wash here?
You don't wash. Because
you are supposed to wash it because this is where food is produced. Every food processing company must be washable. That is what the law is saying. It's not what you think you do.
But your people have been coming here always.
It is not about man. People come here always. It is your responsibility.
Because what
let's go on. Let's go.
The sanitation task force attempted to lock down the wooden structure, but the corn mill operators resisted.
What do you mean? We as workers, why do you want to send the condo away? My question I want to ask is whether you all have been through all the shops around Kaneshi.
It doesn't matter whether
No. It's a question I have to ask. Because this is not the only shop in Kaneshi. I want to ask whether you've been all around the shop at Kaneshi.
We started from a place today.
The sanitation task force managed to control the situation.
Process now is wrong. So if you are able to rectify process now, you open the place for you quietly. So I said, so we are not deliberately saying about with no. So for us, we are health officials and want to protect the public. We will ensure say.
Paul Mensah is an operator of the corn mill.
So that plenty corn inside this in the water right now. You are locking this place. So what?
So that's why I want you to do the rightful thing. If you are able to finish immediately how we are directing you, we can open it for you.
The head of AMA Environmental and Sanitation Department, Florence Kuchi, expressed concerns over the lack of adherence to hygiene standards by some food vendors.
Earrings. Wow. And you didn't see anywhere to put it, but to put it by the food. And when something falls there, you take it and put it inside. Do you know what? We are taking this food away. We will not allow you to sell the food to the public. Okay.
She urged the food they buy.
Just look at the things she's using to sell the food. Dusty, what will I call it? Packs that she is putting the food in to sell. It's so dusty. Look at where her earrings are. Look at the kind of tray she has used to even put meat in to sell to the public. They do as if the food they are selling, they don't eat it.
She says the health of the public is important and government is determined to ensure that food safety standards are met. Prince also answers reports read to you.
Former mayor for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Kojo Bonsu, says management of the Kumasi market cannot be faulted for the recent inferno that destroyed property of traders worth millions of cedis. Investigations revealed that there was negligence by some traders and a faulty fire management system that led to the fire outbreak. But Mr. Bonsu says the traders must stop cooking at the markets to avert future occurrences. He spoke to JoyNews after his vetting for the flag bearer race in the NDC yesterday. We'll bring you that story shortly. While Ghana continues to record an increase in bipolar cases, in 2022, the country recorded 1,759 cases. This figure is 90 cases more compared to that of the previous year, 2021, which was pegged at 1,669. According to the Mental Health Authority, increasing cases are resulting from the increasing causative factors over the years. As the world marks Bipolar Awareness Day today, the Mental Health Authority is appealing to all stakeholders to invest more in mental health care to be able to check the condition. So what are these causative factors and what is needed to reverse the trend? A clinical psychologist and lecturer at Legon, Dr. Jonathan Odame, joins us live with more. Good morning, Doc, and thank you so much for your time. We'll try and get the doctor later in the bulletin, but away from that, participants at a capacity building workshop on strengthening community systems for protection from sexual and gender-based violence and HIV and TB said the laxity of law enforcement and punishment serves as a motivator for culprits. According to them, besides the continuous education, among others, very little progress would be made in eradicating sexual and gender-based violence since perpetrators are emboldened without the law taking its full course. Precious Semavo has more.
The capacity building of community-level stakeholders on how to handle sexual and gender-based violence and HIV and TB cases was a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the Christian Health Association of Ghana. The two-day program in Sunyani brought together community and religious leaders from the Bono East and Ahafo regions, with stakeholders including DOFSU sensitized on the signs, preventions and remedies available for victims. Eric Ohini-Jan is the leader of CHAG in the Middle Zone. He explains how sexual and gender violence impacts HIV and TB patients.
If a woman is tested positive and the man is made aware and the man started beating her or starving her or psychologically abusing her because of the HIV, that's where CHAG comes in. The stakeholder meeting is to engage those who matter in the society so that they send a message across that HIV is not a death sentence, TB is not a death sentence, and anybody who is affected or infected, there's a solution to that. So they should embrace them and then make them happy to take their medications.
Bono Regional Director for Gender, Joyce Linadi, says the situation is widespread and embedded in the way of life. She expects more from community leaders.
We've heard of intimate partner abuse. We've also heard of rape, defilement, and so it is prevalent. It is everywhere. But the truth of the matter is that sexual and gender-based violence issues are mostly embedded in our culture. But we have to draw people's attention that these things are against the laws of Ghana. So they must work around to see how they can curb the situation of how we see sexual and gender-based violence issues as normal. The religious leaders are the ones that lead the crowd. So we are expecting that as they've come to get this knowledge on sexual and gender-based violence, they make sure that their congregants are able to hear the message.
Participants at the capacity building say besides education, among others, the enforcement of laws against perpetrators of sexual and gender-based violence needs to be rigid to deter potential culprits.
These are our lawyers too. They should come out. If it is wrong, it is wrong. They shouldn't say evidence, bring this, bring that. If you are caught, life sentence, then we should be rigid on our laws. And if all these things goes on well, I believe a lot of changes will come on our way.
Even how many of such people have been imprisoned? There are a lot of them. They have been arrested and prosecuted, but how many of them go to prison? How many of them are really punished for what they have done or what they do? They are almost always set free. But if you castrate them, I think that will be enough lesson for others to learn.
Precious Semevo, JoyNews, Sunyani.
Let's go to our earlier story now, where Ghana continues to record an increase in bipolar cases. In 2022, the country recorded 1,759 cases. This figure is 90 cases more compared to that of the previous year, 2021, which was pegged at 1,669. Now, according to the Mental Health Authority, increasing cases are resulting from the increasing causative factors over the years. As the world marks Bipolar Awareness Day today, the Mental Health Authority is appealing to all stakeholders to invest more in mental health care to be able to check the condition. So what are these causative factors and what is needed to reverse the trend? A clinical psychologist and lecturer at Legon, Dr. Jonathan Odame, joins us live with more. Good morning, Doc, and thank you so much for your time.
Good morning.
Now, let's start off by understanding what bipolar is. Like, how would you describe the condition to the layman?
Thank you very much. Bipolar is a mental health condition that affects a person's mood. And the disease has two presentations. There is depression and there's also the manic or the mania. And the depressive symptoms may include a feeling of hopelessness, worthlessness, sleeping difficulties, and lack of energy. While the manic phase or the mania episode is a situation where the person would have an elevated mood, the person will feel so much important about him or herself, or the person has full energy and has a lot of grandiose ideas.
Okay, and so as someone from the outside who's looking at someone who has bipolar, how can I tell that they're suffering from bipolar? Maybe today they're just really excited, but tomorrow they will have a bad day and they're just sad because something happened. So how can I tell that someone is suffering from bipolar?
Okay, thank you very much. Most of the time, you realize that the person will be showing these symptoms. Within a period of 2 weeks, the person will be having symptoms of depression. At the same time, the person will be feeling that sense of manic episode. So you realize that the person will be having mood swings. At one point in time, the person is so excited, the person is so much happy, and at another point in time, the person is so sad. So that will be an indication that there's something probably going wrong in the person's life. Because, for instance, I met you in the morning, you were so happy, you were so joyous, you were all over the place, but in the evening, you are so sad. And it's like you want to commit suicide. So realize that there's some kind of mood swings on the person. And this is where you might notice that there's a problem on the person.
Okay, now to the causative factors, why are they increasing and not changing?
Okay, so a lot of things can cause bipolar disorders. A lot of factors may be responsible for that. Literature has indicated that oftentimes it could be genetic, where it could run in the family, or it could be certain environmental factors. Some people may also be going through all kinds of emotional disturbances like stress, anxieties, which may predispose the person to having this kind of bipolar disorder. Most of the time, the people that I attend to at the hospital, you realize that they may have a family history of bipolar. Either the father or the mother or an auntie had the episode in their life, and the person is also having that same experiences. So a lot of factors may cause the bipolar disorder, from genetic to social to psychological factors.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the current situation in regards to resources and logistics availability to health facilities and managers of the condition. How is that looking like?
Yeah, thanks so much. So as you rightly said, the cases of bipolar keeps on increasing in Ghana, and there's the need for us to create an awareness of the condition. So currently, you realize that in our teaching hospitals, in our government hospitals, we have clinical psychologists or we have psychiatric units there. So when you have anybody you think is having issues of bipolar, you can go to those outlets with the person, or the person himself, if the person thinks that he needs some form of intervention or treatment, may go to a facility and he or she will be attended to professionally.
Okay, as you mentioned earlier that, people suffering from bipolar are predisposed to suicide tendencies. Now, recently in Parliament, they have decriminalized attempted suicide offences. What do you make of this latest development?
Yeah, I believe that, you see, most of the time, it is the lack of knowledge that people have, and also some of the issues that people may be going through in life that they think that they can't bear, or it becomes unbearable for them. And I always say that suicide isn't an option. So there's a need for people to seek for help. If you have any friend or you know anyone who has attempted suicide, or even if yourself you are thinking of committing suicide, there's a need for you to instantly or immediately seek for professional help. And most of the time, literature has indicated that people who may commit suicide may be going through all kinds of depression and anxieties in their life. So there's a need for the awareness to be created. I believe if people are made aware of what causes suicide and even how to know the signs of suicidal behaviors, it will really help.
So you say like suicide is not the option, which I agree. But I mean, what happens to someone who has, you know, tried it? They have been to like therapists or psychologists, and they feel like this is their last resort. What do you have to say to them?
Oh, okay. I believe that at any point in time, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And if I say suicide is not an option, what I want to say is that whatever you are going through, you have to address the problem. Whatever the situation is, there's always hope. There's a statement that wherever there's a way or there's a will, there's a hope. So I believe that in as much as you want to commit suicide, you wouldn't solve the problem. Supposing you are going through marital issues in your life and you want to commit suicide, embarking on suicide wouldn't solve the problem. The issue will still be there. So I would say that there will be the need for people to always address their fears and to seek for proper advice and counseling. And I believe that success will be their story.
Okay. Doc, any last words as the world marks Bipolar Awareness Day today?
Yeah, thank you very much. So on this note, I would like to inform all of us that suicide is there, and also bipolar is a mental health condition. So we should create the awareness. As family members, we should know when people are exhibiting these symptoms, and even yourself as an individual, if you are there and you realize that at one point in time you are happy, at one point in time you are sad, and these symptoms keeps on occurring in your life, please seek for professional help and you will be attended to.
Doc, thank you so much. That is Dr. Jonathan Odame. He is a clinical psychologist and lecturer at Legon, and we were talking about bipolar. And if you are out there and you are contemplating suicide, remember there's always light at the end of the tunnel. The sun will rise again, and we will smile once again. Let's do other stories now, because participants at managers of the Disability Common Fund in the Bungpu and the Nakbanduru district in the northeast region have cautioned beneficiaries against the misappropriation of the support they receive from the program. The district social welfare officer, Emmanuel Osei-Mensah, disclosed that the fund management committee has given their approval for sanctions to be applied against beneficiaries who divert their support from the intended purposes. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko reports.
In all, 73 beneficiaries out of 106 applicants received various support from the fund disbursed by authorities of the Bunkpurgu-Nakbanduru District Assembly. These beneficiaries were described as those with the most pressing needs, who were selected through intense vetting by members of the District Fund Management Committee. In his welcome address at the meeting to disperse the items, the District Coordinating Director Jacob Dindion Collan called for the judicious use of the support.
The 3% of the District Assembly Common Fund that is meant for disabilities is for their development. It is not for consumption. And I am happy to say that the Bunkpurgu-Nakbanduru District Assembly have been very diligent in disbursing the funds to meet this particular need. This particular disbursement, I think that is unique because a chunk of the money has been used to purchase items that will support people
in various ventures.
The items given to the beneficiaries included wheelchairs, hair dryers for the hairdressing venture, electric sewing machines, deep refrigerators for the sale of local beverages, as well as sachet water. Others received cash support to cater for their education and health needs. The district chief executive, Joseph Luknan, said the assembly under his leadership will continue to timely disperse the disability fund as mandated by law.
Last year, January, February, we were able to disperse the fund to no less than 50 beneficiaries out of about 100 and something applicants. And October 2022 again, we were able to disperse about 65 beneficiaries out of about 130 applicants, those who submitted applications and they were shortlisted and assessed. And it was not only cash, some were also given freezers, others sewing machines, others startup kit for mobile money operation. And today, we are here to disperse another tranche of 3%.
The district has a total disability population of 586. According to the district social welfare officer, Emmanuel Osei Mensah, measures have been put in place to check the application of the support received by the beneficiaries, including sanctions against those who will be found misusing their support.
Right after this disbursement, some time will pass, the district office will go on monitoring to ensure that they have put the support to good use. If we happen to find some of these misapplications, the sanction is that such reports, their letters are frozen over time, so that we ensure that they put what we have already given them to good use, so that later on, when we have realized that they are putting it into good use, we can now continue to help them.
He also called for his office to be equipped with resources and logistics, including a vehicle for the effective and efficient running of the department. Lamisi Conland is a 43-year-old physically challenged individual. He is the president of the Disability Association in the district. He received cash support to set up a mobile money business. He spoke to JoyNews about the intervention.
About 23 years that I'm having this problem, and I could be able to manage and take care of myself small, and then through the district assembly support, I still living comfortable. Anytime I have problem and I seek for help, they use to support.
Another beneficiary also expressed her gratitude to the district for the assistance.
I'm grateful for understanding. I'm also asking for my police to also apply. Those who don't know should also apply so that they can also be given the support that they support.
From Bunkurgu, Ilyasu Tanko for JoyNews.
It is a giant baobab tree that has a door and window carving. Inside it is hollow and with large space that can contain over 20 people all standing. In times of war, it used to serve as refuge for the people of Buha to enable them over defeat their enemies. On our Ghana series today, JoyNews Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam visited the mysterious baobab tree house at Buha and reports that there are also bees that serve as the first line of defense for the people of Buha during war times.
Located at the outskirts of Buha and its prairie jungle is this revered baobab tree. We are told the baobab tree is as old as the Buha community, dating back to the 12th century. It has a shape of a beer bottle. A couple feet above the ground is a door carving, and few meters up is a window carving. During the days of yore, this is where the people of Buha sought refuge in to enable them fight their enemies. I was accompanied inside the mysterious baobab tree by one of the leading members of the Buha landlords, known locally here as Tindeme, together with his grandson, some officials of the Ghana Tourism Authority, and renowned private tour guide Aziz Pelpu.
We are about 8 inside the baobab tree. We are told that this is where the people of Buha used to come and hide during the wars. And so we're told that this is where they hide themselves from their enemies. And then also, it looks like we are in a balloon of a sort or a big bottle. And so when you are looking at it from inside, it looks spacious.
Aziz Pelpo better and aptly described how the baobab tree came to serve as a refuge for the people of Buha.
Well, it is a baobab tree naturally shaped in the form of a room with a natural door and a window carving. And then the inside is very hollow, able to take about 20 average size humans. The first settlers of this community got here during the times of war, and they first saw the tree like a place they could seek refuge. So they took refuge here, and to their surprise, they realized that the enemy passed them without realizing them. So the second time, they used the same place as a refuge from where they were able to shoot at their enemies. But they realized that each time they entered this baobab tree house, they became invincible to the enemy. So the people took it as a place of worship where they offer sacrifices each time there were wars.
A view shared by Idris Lara from Musa Tree. It is our heritage site bequeathed to us by our forefathers. We revered it a lot. Our forefathers used to seek refuge here during times of war. It happened during our war with the Zamano people, Idris said. The baobab tree later became a place for fortification of warriors and masqueraders.
Each time the masquerade dancers or warriors will go out to perform, they bring them here for 3 to 7 days. They perform their rituals, they fortify them before they go out. Also the same with warriors. Each time warriors, before they go to the battlefield, they are brought here and then they are fortified in a way that they became invincible to their opponents before they go to war. And later the locals or the indigenes, also the baobab tree also has medicinal and spiritual values. For example, they come and peel the bark of the baobab tree for medicinal purposes.
Could one get drenched by rain when you are inside the baobab tree?
Well, I have a very interesting story. I was here some time ago, last rainy season, with some visitors, and unfortunately or fortunately for us, the rains started, and while some of them were running to the bus, a few of them were adventurous and said, let's have a feel of what happens inside the baobab tree house during the rains. And we were there for about 30-45 minutes. No single drop of rain got us. You only have the water splashing through the baobab tree down, but to come in, no. And we still had the beautiful air and the lightning coming from the windows, but no water or rain got to us.
Apart from the baobab tree used as a protection for the people during time of wars, we are also told that there are also bees that serves as the first line of defense.
Well, interestingly, the baobab tree house is also home to several beehives, even inside the baobab tree house, and it is a first point of call when there are enemies coming. The indigenes are able to invoke the spirits of the bees to chase the enemy as far as 6-7 kilometers away. And once the bees come back here, they don't disturb the indigenes, they don't disturb visitors.
Will anybody just come around and enter?
Well, anybody can come, especially if you are an indigene. Any indigene of Busa community is allowed to come in at any time, but the caution is that you do not desecrate the baobab tree house. So anything that is considered ungodly, unholy, unpure is not allowed inside the baobab tree house. We are also told that once you don't have any bad intentions, you will not even see a reptile, nothing inside the baobab tree house. But once you have some ill intentions or wicked intentions and you come here, you will have problems with the spirits in here.
The mysterious baobab tree has a potential of attracting millions of tourists to the Buha community, but unable to do so because it is barely being opened to the public.
I will appeal to the indigenes or the custodians of this site to open it up to the public. When I say open it up to the public, they must guarantee the safety of tourists first, and they must be willing to open it up to investors or partnership. At least cleaning around the baobab tree house getting a pathway to the baobab tree house, keeping accurate records, and protecting visitors are some of the things that they can do to improve visitation to the site.
Okay. Powers Regional Director of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Moses in the Buguri, was in awe with what he saw.
Amazing. When I arrived here, from a distance, you could see that it was only just a tree. But when you get to a certain direction, it was very, very fascinating sight.
Moses in the Buguri, beneath his leaves, already has plans of partnering with the community to improve the tourism potential of the mysterious baobab tree.
We are going to partner with the community members to first of all draw up a community development plan for the community. So first of all, what we need to do with the community is that they will need to form a tourism development committee that will oversee not only this particular site, but all other tourist attractions within the Busa community. The second one is that we are also appealing to them to also preserve the place. They should also try to weed around it, especially during the rainy season, so that, and then create path for people to come. Those who want to visit can come in and then enjoy the facility.
We are told right at the beginning, if you have evil plans or intentions, you are likely going to have an unsuccessful tour of the baobab tree house, as you could be stung by the bees. We have now finished our mission without even a single bee hovering around us. Why won't you also come around to see for yourself this revered and mysterious baobab tree house?
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Buha.
And back here in Accra, I'm Mapitso Sebidi with JoyNews Desk. We'll be back right after this.
It's the fourth edition of the Joy Change Speakers Series 2023, My Case for Constitutional Review. To review or not to review after 30 years. Join our guest speakers, Inusa Hussein, former chairman, Legal and Constitutional Committee of Parliament, Richard Jupenuku, former presidential candidate of the Progressive People's Party, Professor Bafo Ajumanduya, Chief Executive Officer, John Kufuor Foundation, Oliver Baka Vomawo, lawyer and researcher for the Constitution Review Commission, Ace Anand Ankoma, lawyer and good governance advocate, and the chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, Kathleen Ade. Join us this Saturday, April 1st, 2023 on the JoyNews channel and Joy 99.7 FM for this special edition from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It will be hosted by Samson Ladi Ayenene and Dr. Mami Mensa Bonsu. Joy Change Speakers, impact and influence for a better Ghana.
You're welcome back. Now, in order to ensure that graduates possess the necessary knowledge, skills and competencies to thrive in the workplace, quality assurance has become an essential component of higher education. Unfortunately, there are gaps that exist in the quality assurance of higher education in Africa. To address this issue, a 3-day workshop has been organized by Global Quality Assurance Association, and there's more in this report.
The 3-day workshop is to identify the shortfalls in the quality of services at tertiary institutions in Africa while developing strategies to improve the quality assurance there. University lecturers and managers present at the event were eager to get equipped with the necessary competencies for success at the workplace. Quality assurance consultant Dr. Violet Makoku hopes that the waning quality in these institutions will be resolved.
Quality assurance in universities has become a key component because you see it's these graduates who go into the industry and workplaces. But what is happening there? What is missing? So all those answers and the gaps are responded to through quality assurance. The pressing one is the competencies. People do not have the appropriate qualifications, because when it came, it's like throughout the African continent, the accreditation board is just saying, you need a quality assurance unit for us to accredit your programs. But the manpower is not there. The well-trained people are not there. I don't want to brag, but I want to say the best person to be, for example, the director of quality assurance is somebody who understands the university system, but also with a qualification in quality assurance. Now, if you take an auditor could be for the environment, could be, but we want somebody who has done even monitoring and evaluation of the education system.
During the workshop, a practical approach, including group discussions, will be used to convey the relevant knowledge to participants to enable them embrace relevant and contemporary ways of training the future workforce.
So by this workshop, because I said we have people at different levels, for those who are newly appointed, by the time they leave this place, they are equipped with knowledge and information on how they are going to build their quality management system. Or if it was already there, they will see how they can improve it. For those who have already been into quality assurance, it means now they have enhanced skills and knowledge and skills from others who are coming from other countries. And they will be better equipped in terms of information and how they can also tackle some of the quality assurance challenges. So we have an added advantage that the delegates are coming from different countries. So as they are coming from Tanzania, Kenya, Zambia, Togo, Ghana, Nigeria, it helps us a lot, Kenya, because they will now exchange ideas. You see, when they do the group discussions, the person from Kenya is sharing with a person from Zambia, is sharing with a person from Togo, Nigeria, and so it becomes more meaningful.
Participants are hopeful that the quality of monitoring, assessing, evaluating, and reporting objectively on all aspects of tertiary education will improve after this workshop. Esther Nkrumah's report read.
That we're all for the news. Business is up next.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. The 53rd Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Ghana Institution of Engineers is underway at Takoradi in the Western region, where stakeholders are discussing solutions to challenges confronting Ghana's engineering space. Natalia Kwanzaa has more from Takoradi.
Ghana, like many developing countries, is beveled with engineering challenges across all facets of our development. High incidence of shoddy work in the building of roads, schools, and drainage infrastructure, among others, has become order of the day. Many questioning the role of engineers in the formulation, design, implementation, and certification of such projects. The president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Reverend Professor Charles Adam, called on engineers and engineering practitioners to play a more proactive role in shaping national development agenda through collaboration with stakeholders to ensure engineering consideration are factored into program.
As we all know, sound, professional, regulated, and resilient engineering and infrastructure are basic prerequisites for any country's development and economic transformation. It is through the application of engineering, that is, engineers that will bring us. The knowledge will bring us engineers, the skills, the innovation, for Economic Development and Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, as engineers, we have a critical role to play in achieving the sustainable goals of our country, and particularly to prepare our continent and our country to achieve the continental agenda, the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want.
The Omayini Office Kadonana Kobna Nketia said the qualities embedded in the Ghana Institution of Engineering should manifest in their work in Ghana for all to see.
What's the meaning of Ghana to you? What matrix have we been caught up in that this institution that you have, you are members of, in Sekedi Takrad, in the city of liberation? What are you going to do to the matrix? Are you going to consolidate it? Are you going to compound it? Or are you going to make it better or liberate it? I leave that also to you. And by doing that, you refer to yourself as Ghana what? Institution. What is the meaning of the word Ghana to you? So you ask yourself, what is the Ghanaian character? When you say I am, Mara Yumara, I am that I am, what does it mean? Whose identity? What am I manifesting?
For his part, the Western Regional Minister, Kobna Otreda Commenter, said the time has come for Ghana Institution of Engineering as a body to develop technologies for affordable concrete road, agriculture, machinery, city planning for the benefit of the country.
I believe that it is time our engineers build technology that can help us survive this. I believe that it is time that our engineers move their education from newspaper publications to community-based education so that our miners can learn and use the technologies that will make sure that our environment are not degraded, but sustainable mining practices that can keep this nation going forward.
Attendance at the conference are delegates from West and Eastern Africa, as well as professional bodies. Election will also be conducted to elect new executives in Athalia Kwanza, Joy Business, Western Region.
In other news, the MTN Ghana Foundation has launched the Ghana Enterprises Support Program, an initiative it hopes would help cushion small businesses and expand employment opportunities. Here's more from the launch.
Economic conditions in the country have made access to funding a major challenge for some businesses. In view of this, MTN Foundation, in partnership with InnoHub, has launched a Ghana Enterprises Support Program to assist businesses. The businesses will receive seed funding to grow their ventures. Speaking at the launch of the initiative, Economic Empowerment Advisor of MTN Foundation, Cynthia Mills, said the initiative is geared towards building the capacity of small businesses' contribution to job creation.
When we look at our ecosystem, we have a lot of people who do businesses, but they lack the support and sometimes the training to be able to scale up or bring the project to fruition. So that's why the MTN Ghana Foundation Board approved this project to assist with training and also seed capital, and not just leave them, but will be with them to make sure that these businesses grow. The youth also have so many ideas, but they lack funding and support to be able to shape their programs. So at the end of this program, we're looking at creating viable businesses in Ghana.
CEO of InnoHub, Nelson Amo, added that the initiative would help to sustain livelihoods through job creation.
End of the day, what we want to say is how many of these businesses we supported are growing in revenues, growing in numbers, and creating jobs. For us, job creation is a cardinal point when we want to see success of this project. So ultimately, we want this project to contribute to job creation. So if in 5 years we have 500 businesses supported, we should be able to count close to 2,000 jobs created at the barest minimum. minimum by these businesses. Ultimately, we want to see how many of these businesses could double or increase in their revenues and, as it were, just survive and grow to the next stage. Because if I receive 10,000 cedis now, in the next 2 years, I might be able to show growth and therefore be eligible for like a 50,000 or 100,000. So we want to see that incremental growth in the trajectory of these businesses over the period.
MTN Foundation is committing an amount of 1 million Ghana cedis to cushion the businesses that would be selected. Jesse Ayram Agbapo's report read to you.
So the business news for now. Maps will be here with more of news there. Stay tuned.
Before we go, travelers are assured that the national carrier Ghana Airlines will be airborne by July. This was disclosed by Transport Minister Kweku Ofori-Siama in a press briefing at the Ministry of Information. Now, the airline will operate as the country's national carrier following the decision to award Ashanti Airlines and its operational and financial partner, Resources Group, a tender to commence business. Now, according to Mr. Siama, most of the processes have been completed to ensure that it becomes operational by July. Here are some excerpts.
Ghana Airways, it will fly again. I think government took a decision to join the private sector to make sure that we have a national carrier. I can tell you that, you see, in some of these matters, it is not an event, it's a process that we need to go through. And I think that I've realized that in this country, anytime that one's come out to say that our government is doing it, they want to see it tomorrow. Yes, I want to, I think the enthusiasm is there, but it is not possible. We need to go through the processes. Even procurement alone, even going through the system, we need to, if you jump one, you cannot. It's going to be a problem. But so far, I can tell you that the proponent have done so well. Madam Chief Director was just whispering into my ears that they've gone through all the processes because they needed to go through the processes. GCL and GCA, the regulator had to make sure that it is well grounded. And Mr. Charles Kweku told me the other day that they certified all the requirements. They are going to launch their logo. My information from them is that by the end of April or May, they will start selling their tickets. And by June, July, you see a national airline, Ghana Airlines, flying in the sky. Inshallah, it shall be well.
Ghana Airlines will fly again, and that's how we end Joy News. Thanks for more news. You can log into myjoyonline.com. I am Mapitso Sebidi.